Welcome to Moving for Life, the podcast that explores how movement, nutrition and lifestyle choices help build a stronger, healthier body. I'm Dave.
And I'm Ben. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
How are we all doing? All right?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
So what are we talking about today then?
Today we're going to be talking about one of my favourite topics and one of the most essential nutrients for building and maintaining strength, which is protein. So a little bit more of the nutrition side today. Protein is, first of all, it's the foundation of muscle repair, recovery and growth.
Yeah, I know protein gets a lot of focus as far as fitness side of things is concerned, a lot of attention from in fitness circles, but understanding how much is actually needed and why can have a huge difference on achieving strength goals, can't it?
Yeah, it can. So if we go back down to the basics, so what is protein? So protein is made up of amino acids, which are the building blocks of muscle tissue. So we need them to survive and to have any kind of muscle on our body. When muscles are stressed through exercise, especially resistance training, where we're lifting weights, they experience tiny tears. So you might find that if you've done a gym session, the next day your muscles are quite sore. That is because of this, because of these little tiny tears. And then the protein will help repair the tears, leading to stronger, more resilient muscles. And where do we get protein? We get our protein mainly from our food sources.
So just go back to those tears, and I think probably important for certainly people who listen to this, that the tear is perfectly natural, isn't it? It's not like pulling a muscle.
Yeah, you'll know the difference between the two. So a tiny tear in this instance is absolutely fine and goes to help with improving the strength of the muscles, whereas a bigger tear where you actually tear the muscle or pull a muscle is when the issues can kind of come in.
Okay.
But you'll know the difference because that will happen straight away, whereas you'll feel the tiny tears at a later date, like the day after or a couple of days after.
Okay. So I know you've talked to me loads about research as far as protein and everything is concerned, and the research tells us how much protein's needed. According to a classic study by Fern in 1991, the minimum amount of protein required to prevent muscle loss in a healthy adult was around 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. And that's both male and female, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the same across both sexes, So, and that's just kind of the bare minimum, really. So what we should be having every day. And like Dave says, that's just to prevent muscle loss. So if we're active and doing strength training, then we're going to need to have a little bit more. A more recent study by Patel in 2021 found that people that engage in regular strength training, so between kind of 3 and 5 times a week, they should be having at least 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day.
Okay, so let's put some perspective around that then. So let's take a 70 kilogram person.
Yeah.
What are we talking about there?
So if you're 70 kg, male or female, to prevent muscle loss, you're looking at consuming 70 grams of protein per day. So that's quite an easy one to work out.
Okay, yeah.
Gets a little bit more complicated if we start to increase our activity levels. So if we're lifting weights 3, 4, 5 times a week, then we're looking at that 1.6 to 2.2 grams, which would then take us up to 112 to 154 grams of protein per day. And that's to help with the muscle growth and the repair of the muscle as well after exercise.
So that's a big difference.
It is, yeah.
It's huge, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, double, pretty much.
Yeah, it is. And I think it highlights how important it is to match the protein intake to the activity. It's no good just staying at a set protein level, is it? It's got to match what you're actually doing. Yeah. So you mentioned someone who's doing two times a week, for instance, to someone who's doing 5 times a week of strength training. Is going to be different to how they take that protein in and how much protein they take in.
Yeah, so that person that's doing 2 strength training sessions a week based on the guidance of the minimum of what we should be doing will probably be consuming that 112 grams of protein, whereas the person that's training 5 times a week, 6 times a week will be more on that kind of 154 grams per day.
Just to maintain muscle, it's 70.
It's 70, and that is kind of for everybody as a baseline. No matter how active you are, if you're inactive or active, then it needs to be a minimum of 1 gram of protein per kilogram.
And of course, this relates back to the podcast we did about sarcopenia, doesn't it? Where you get that natural muscle loss. So this is where that 1 gram comes in. If you're trying to maintain that muscle mass with that, but if you're actually exercising, you need more as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. So it goes hand in hand.
Okay. So talk to me about how we should take that protein in then.
So a lot of it obviously will come from our food. Our body produces a little bit itself, but I'm not going to go into the science of all that. So most of it will come from our consumption of different foods. So there are a number of different foods that have higher protein and quality proteins as well, such as lean meats, fish, eggs, dairy, soy and legumes, as they provide all the essential amino acids. So we spoke about the amino acids before. That's what protein is made of. So these types of foods will have all of these amino acids to make sure the protein is full. And it's kind of thinking of when do we eat the protein? How much should we have during the day at different times of the day? So we want to try and evenly spread it out throughout the day, really. And a good aim is to do between 20 and 30 grams per meal. If you're kind of hitting that, then you're probably hitting your goals. You might need a little bit more, maybe post exercise. So if you've done quite a heavy strength training session, it might be worth having a bit of a protein-rich snack afterwards to help with the recovery. But overall, trying to spread it out throughout the day will give that steady supply of amino acids for the muscle repair.
So from what I'm hearing there, it's not just about the quantity, it's about the quality of the protein as well, isn't it? So as you say, whole meals, whole food, those are the sources you want to go to for it. So fish, eggs, dairy, that sort of thing, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. And there is the element of supplements as well. So I'm sure everyone's heard of protein shakes and things like that. There's good and bad protein shakes as well, so it's important to look at the ingredients of these things that you purchase. If there's a protein shake that's full of sugars, full of different preservatives, additives, then it's probably not that beneficial. If it is just pure protein normally from a milk source or maybe a pea protein, something like that, then that'll be much more quality to take in.
I think there's a valuable point there in that sometimes people can get misled by labels, can't they? So you should say check the sugar content and stuff as well.
Yeah.
Just because it says it's high in protein doesn't mean that it's going to not be high in other things that aren't so beneficial.
And this is it. You can go to a supermarket now and there's hundreds and thousands of different products that just say high protein on. But from what we say, it's important to look at the actual ingredients that are in there, because a lot of the time, if you get a high protein version of something, if you actually look at the protein content, there's not actually that much more, but they then pump it full of other things which aren't good for you as well. So it's you've got to be really careful. Just because it says high protein doesn't necessarily mean it's quality. You're better off sticking to the whole foods that we kind of spoke about before.
And if we're talking about somebody who's following a plant-based diet, then it's about combining those different protein sources like beans, rice, lentils, those sorts of things, isn't it? And ensuring you're getting that good amino acid profile.
Yeah, and let's not get it wrong. It's harder to reach your protein goal if you are following a plant-based diet, whether vegetarian or vegan. It is more difficult. A little bit easier as a vegetarian because normally you can have eggs. Maybe sometimes fish as well, but it's definitely vegan diet is much more difficult to hit your protein goals. So it is getting that variety of different proteins, like Dave says, from beans, rice, lentils, quinoa. But it is normal to take supplements to get your protein goals. So then, like we say, it's looking for that quality plant-based protein shake that we can kind of purchase.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point there, isn't it? And as you say, it's possibly a bit easier for a vegetarian than someone who's vegan because of some of the other options that are available there. Yeah. But I think from what you were saying there, and in general, I think I've heard, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but the body becomes less efficient at using protein anyway. For muscle repair as we age. Is that right?
Yeah, it does, unfortunately. It's another thing that comes with age and leads or kind of can exacerbate that sarcopenia that we spoke about previously as well. So it might be worth, as we get older, maybe over the age of 60, 65, is to increase that protein intake anyway, up to 1.6 to 2 grams per kilogram of body weight, just to get in that the right amount of protein, really.
Okay, so we've got a goal of maintaining muscle.
Yeah.
but and building strength as well, or recovering faster. And protein plays a central role in that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the key is to get enough and spread it throughout the day and choose high quality sources. So it is really important when looking. Also, if you want to lose some weight, that a high protein diet will help with that as well, as protein helps keep you fuller for longer.
Okay.
So let's say for breakfast we have a high protein meal, might be Greek yogurt and nuts, that kind of thing. That'll keep you fuller for longer, so you'll probably be able to last up until lunch. Whereas if you treat yourself to a bowl of high sugar cereal, I can almost guarantee you'll be hungry within about an hour.
Okay.
So it's looking at options and trying to fit that protein in every single meal if we can.
Okay. Now, I always like to have a key thing to take away from these.
Yes.
Yeah? So my key thing I'm going to take away from this one today is that, in short, movement builds the stimulus, but nutrition, especially protein, provides the materials for growth. So it gives us the fuel, if you like, for growth.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there, Dave. And that nicely wraps us up for today's episode of Moving for Life. Remember, strength starts in the gym, but it's built in the kitchen.
Thanks for tuning in. Join us next time as we explore more ways to fuel movement and live stronger, healthier lives.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.